Yeah, yeah. That was the official sounds. Good evening, everybody. Dobry večer. Is that right? Yes. Welcome at the International Lindy Hop Championships Europe. It is true. It is happening. Very happy and delighted, and I think all of us to see so many of you here gathering. My name is Sep. I will be your host for tonight and also during this event together with TJ, which is a humble pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me to facilitate the upcoming conversations. I'm based and born in Belgium, and I'm very happy to see that we have an amazing, beautiful crew of people from all around the world here in Sofia, Bulgaria. We're going to hold these talks, which we're very excited about. It's our way to honor this dance and this African-American art form, and therefore we have organized the space to talk and to invite knowledgeable, wise, and very beautiful people to share. Yes, you can. Yeah, have a look. Their insights, their wisdom, their knowledge. We also going to have a very special guest that normally should hear us. Yes, great. So stay around. Tell your friends who are not here to join in, if still possible. What we're going to do today will be about jazz competition. What does it mean? Why do we do this? Where do you want to go with it? And we're going to have a very simple question to all of you beautiful panel members. What is your pick on competition? Or we're going to have Remy, who did organize and invite all of these beautiful people. So go, Remy. And
thanks. Hello, everybody. Now, I think it's good if I start off because I'm the one responsible for this topic, and I need to be super transparent with you. I think it's beyond jazz competition. It's competition and culture. I think to me, they are related, and at least I grew up with this sense of competition in my life in general, in a healthy way, not in a negative way. And so I asked my colleagues over there the difficult task to share with us what competition means to them and what the word competition means to them or how it is related to the culture to them. And I gave them the limitation of do that under 3 minutes each. Because at the end, I don't want it to be a lecture. I want it to be a reflection. So you leave that space and you can reflect what does it mean to you. So I would start it off because I got the microphone. To me, competition is something where I had a beautiful opportunity to challenge myself and I grew throughout challenges. I love challenges in general, and I think I grew up having challenges with friends in sports or in dancing or in DJing or in life in general, how to play off each other. So to me, that represents community. The word community is in competition to me, in my take of it, and challenges for growing. So it represents growth to me. And without it, I think I wouldn't have grown that much in life in general. So who want to go next? What? Tena? All right.
Hi, everybody. So just kind of piggyback off of what Remy was saying, for me, competition is part of Black American culture, and that's what we do. And so I have kind of a pet peeve when people are on social media and they're talking about Lindy Hop and they say things like, oh, well, it's a street dance and, it shouldn't be about competing. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is what we do in every area of life, from who makes the best potato salad, in dressing, everything. Everything's about competition, and it's not negative, it's positive. And it's always like to better yourself or see the best in other people. And so it's never from a negative connotation, it's always positive. So for me, I love competitions. I love seeing them. I love seeing people do better. That's what I love.
I got my own. You have a timer? 3 minutes? Chapter 1. Joke aside, for me, competition, it took different meanings because I grew up with what Tina was saying about competition being part of everyday life, but I forgot about it because I had been into the competition within the Lindy Hop scene. And then we had that very conversation with Tina. When she said that, I immediately could picture my mom spending weeks choosing her outfit for church because she wants to outdress the other ladies at church. But it clicked that, yeah, this has also been part of my upbringing. Like competition has been part of everyday life. But when Remy asked the question today, what I was thinking was competition is personal. It's personal and it's relationships. And it's how I compete because I want to challenge myself or I want to like find a way to practice because I'm lazy. And then you register for the competition and then you have to practice. I also compete because of my friends, because my friend did that step and I'm going like, wait a minute, go practice, come back. Hey, check this out. And then my friend's like, okay, go practice, come and check this out. So it's like a way of connecting with my friends and also a way of connecting with the community. And it's positive. So that's, for me, it's building relationship through betterment of the self, of the connection with the others, and overall of the whole community.
Money, you want to do? Yeah, you want last? All right. Hello.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep it 3 minutes. Okay. Nah, 1 minute to do it. So yeah, I agree with my other panelists, what they said, but I have a completely different take on it. I don't mind organic competition. Organized competitions, I don't like. I grew up, same thing, battling and being in the clubs and dancing, and whoever I'm against, well, first of all, it's not a circle all night. We're all dancing. Yeah. And then every now and then a hot song comes on, and those of us that like to circle up will circle up. But as soon as the circle's over, we're back to dancing with everybody. And it was the same thing. Like somebody did a move or I did a move. I can't do that next week. They'll laugh at me. I got to come up with something new, or I saw somebody else do a move, or I got to flip it, or they, whatever. So there's always that. But it was, again, it's just organic. It happened. Nobody's judging it. I might still say I won, and this person might say they won, or the crowd has their opinions on it. And that for me is cool. But when it gets to being organized, I don't like it so much. I started.
Maybe I want to say that. I have to. Because when I reached out to Montel, we met before and we knew we wanted to do something together. And so I reached out to him to come to ILHC Europe when this whole idea came up. And I said to him, I want you to come to teach, to judge, and to talk. And he said, like, yeah, sure. I come to teach and I come to talk, but I don't judge. And then I was like...
Talk me into this.
And so we exchanged, and to me, that was all his point was the reason I needed him to come. Because I think to me, it's not about like the organized competition, and we are in it right now, but it's about how we can change to find that organic way of pushing ourselves within a context that is not fake. So there is a long way to go, but thank you for agreeing to be here. And that's the beginning of a change to me.
Thank you for the invitation.
Anybody else want to go first? Okay. I'll go last. Can I do just a one word representation? I do competition. It's like who I am, how I appreciate the dance as a guest of the culture. That's how I've been challenging myself, and I'm like showing who I am, and I'm like how I can, express how much I love this dance and culture. That's simple. You don't want to... You got continue. All right. I hope I can keep it short. I have a conflicting love-hate relationship with competition. I think I'm a competitive person, but I think I've experienced both good and bad competitions. Maybe when I grew up, the competition was different. It was like ballet competition, so it was. I think it's hard because then if you're all trying to do the same thing, then you have to be the best at doing that one thing, and also I think it's not a very maybe supportive competition. And I think through Lindy Hop, I have experienced good moments of like competition where I really got excited about like being on the floor and seeing somebody kill it and be like, oh, I'm next, and feeling really hyped. But there are also moments that I've experienced where I felt like, well, I wasn't good enough, and all the emotions that come with it of dealing with like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, it's hard because like I like being challenged and I like to put myself out there and I like going towards what I fear. But at the same time, I know that I'm going to have to deal with like serious emotions and keep on pushing and keep on like accepting myself, even if like, well, maybe I was not part of like the people that were preferred that day. And so I love it. And I also am like, it's like the little butterflies. So yeah, I hope that we can, I think part of it is also maybe when it's natural, maybe more when I feel like it's real and I get support from my friends and I get excited, then it's cool. But when I feel like it's a bit maybe sterile, then it's hard to be out there and pretend like you're enjoying it when you're just kind of like not really enjoying it. So I hope we can get to, a place where it's like really fire and where we all feel like it's okay to like bring our best and know that we're still part of this thing. And that also, because it's a dance where individuality is super important. When I judge, it's like also hard to feel like, oh, I have to make a decisions because it's a progress, it's a journey. So like you judge people at that one point in time and you hope they don't feel hurt if they're not chosen, because like I see you all like compete and like evolve through time, and I really enjoy that. And so yeah, I hope we can all like support each other and give our best.
All right, I have 3 words. Upbringing. I started when I was 8 years old, and I have been competing since I was 9. So it's a huge part of my upbringing, and that upbringing, it's part of community, because in Sweden there's this huge, how do you say, like the schools, it's not a school, it's like a community thing? Association. Thank you, Marie. Yeah. So you just come together, and parents and kids, they help out with everything, like selling cookies and stuff. So the friends and the community, even if I am myself a guest in the culture too, I recognize some of the things that part from being together with a group. And I will not be the same person today without that upbringing, which I value a lot. Second thing is failure. Failure is a huge part for me with competition. But failure that brings growth, going back to what Remy said. So many years of working hard and growing within yourself and feeling that you are growing as a person within that process. Not necessarily always knowing what the goal might be. And the goal might change as well from when you started to what it is now. I remember when I went to ILHC the first time, 2013, I was part of the Swedish group and Swedish team. And it was all about winning. There was nothing else. If we do go, we get some money to support the flights and everything. Privileged Swedish government and people. It was all about winning. And if you didn't win, you failed. But that process has changed, right? I don't go for that reason anymore. There's so many other things that are... But if I didn't go, I wouldn't experience the failure, and I wouldn't grow, and I wouldn't understand the things that are more important. So, upbringing, failure, and growth. That's the 3 things I want to share.
Okay, good evening. It's pretty hard for me to say in these 3 minutes what is competition to me, because as many of these people, and actually as Felipe said, it's really part of my entire life. So at the moment I feel like I'm in therapy with a lot of people. So I'm not worried. Yes. So yeah, yeah, exactly. I would ask for a drink, but I said no. Yeah, I've been competing all my life, but I think I changed in the latest years. I think growing and yeah, I think in the past, any failure was a disaster for days, a complete disaster. Lately, it's less of a disaster, but still, of course, it really touches me because there is a lot of effort that we all put into the competition to go to the competition itself. But on the way back from the restaurant, on the way here, I thought, going to the therapist, what is competition for me? And I think I realized that, well, not today actually, but I really enjoy the performance and I really enjoy the preparation of the performance. And I think for me as a human being, there is nothing that really pleases me the most than seeing people entertained by what I do. And that could be being at the table and throw a fantastic joke. It really makes me happy that everyone is happy.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. And in the dance is and in the dance is the same. I'm happy when I can see, like now I cannot see you. So, but I think you're having a good time. I see some contraction of the muscles here. Now, beside the jokes, I really enjoy the part of practicing, being in the studio. Mo is here. We dance a lot together, and the process is the one that really makes me happy. And then there is the final moment. In Italy, we say the Saturday party in the village, which is the moment where you prepare the Sunday party, and that's what makes us, maybe Italian or maybe only Vincenzo, happy. I talk of me in third person like I'm not here. Yeah. No, well, I'll try to be serious. Yes, the preparation really make me happy, and then when we go on the dance floor, when I go on the dance floor, I'm really happy to see if what I do entertain people. The judgment that I receive from the judges, as I said, it used to be very important to me. Now it's a little bit less important, but I still take it in a way that I want to see why, not necessarily why, but I want to see what happened in the competition. But I also know that I try to speak the language that I speak in the dance, which when I started, I tried to copy the videos, the old videos, and I tried to be exactly the same. And I think through times, this kind of went away naturally. And I think I found a language with my body of speaking the dance, which is, of course, different from everyone because we come from different society, extraction, and countries and all the rest. So if you want to re-summarize, but I think you understand the point of what's competing for me. Yeah. And the enjoyable part is something very important. As Ali said, if when we are on the dance floor, the fun doesn't come through, and when we judge, it's very clear if it's horrible acting or if it's actually honest and true. I think it come across. So yeah. Okay, this was it.
Yeah. 3 minutes. Okay. So for me, a lot of the perspectives that I hold have been shared. Walking back, thinking about this as well, not assuming, because I know a lot of us have a lot of competitive experience throughout our lives, but I have, I think, been indoctrinated in the space of competition since birth, quite literally. I never thought about it that way. Well, yeah. Only, yeah, 72.
according to my mom. Again, competition, so I'll start with that. Competition is a part of my legacy. It's a part of my heritage, apparently. My mother, even in that state, competitively, 72 hours of labor. Yay, 1980s. But more succinctly, in that my father was a competitive athlete, as was my mother. My mother was also competitive academically. And it was always through the stories of their lives, not just them telling me, but my aunts and uncles and grandparents telling me about their happenings, but not, oh, they were going up against their classmate to win this scholarship. It was always in the vein of, well, your mom was actually sent to open high school and because she was the smartest at this, and your dad got to do this because he was the strongest at this, and your dad got promoted at this level because he did this, and your uncles did this thing because they were the best singers, and then your whole family did this because they were the best dancers in the community. It was always a part of the storytelling, the competition. And I very quickly realized that I was starting to fit into the family story, and I was like, well, where is my competitive aspects going to come from? And it very quickly started to show itself. I threw the best tea parties as a little one. And it was always just, it was never, as many of my African-American and Black compatriots have said, it was never a thing of to try to eviscerate the other person. It was always this, well, Remy's tea party was the best this week. Well, Pearl's is going to be the best next week, clearly. Like, clearly. And it was always just a fascination with, well, who is it going to be this week? And it took this conversation for me to really sit with that, to realize that I've always been looking for the competition, not in a sense of like, who am I going to beat today? Who am I going to smoke today? But just who's working, who's training, who's practicing, who's like in, as we say colloquially, who's in the cut, like really shedding, really trying to see how they can maximize how they express to this music, how they dance in this space. Because sometimes it wasn't even about the song. Sometimes it was about being the one that was recognized in a particular club. Like, yeah, they were the champ at this event. Tina said, that would have been me. You know, like, and even getting into the realm of dancing competitively, I thought I was done with dance when I came into that space. And seeing that there was an international scale of people sharing so fully and freely in house dance, a style that I had been around all my life, but didn't know was an established, organized thing overseas. I was like, well, I just want to get good enough to talk with those people. But talking with those people meant competing at the level that they were competing at. And that was a space that I was existing in before I ever even came to the Lindy Hop community, which is something that apparently people don't know about me. And it's, when I got here, it was the same. And as Remy had many great conversations with me about, and Tena as well, I didn't come in with that, well, I'm a world champion in this thing, so where do I go? I came in and was like, triple what? Where are you sending me? Why are you sending me all the way? What, I got to run back? What's this twist thing? What is a swing out? And there's still some times when I'm dancing with new people, I'm just like, do I understand what this thing is? Or I connect with someone who's coming from one of those styles that I already do, and I'm just like, wait, this, you're sending me somewhere else. And anyway, as Mo was sharing, it's about representation. Having a very firm understanding of myself and wanting to make sure that that voice is shared every space that I'm invited to be in. And it's not about winning, which I recognize and I've shared with Marie is sometimes something that I'm often rebuffed for, or moving away from academic language, ignored for. Because I've won so many things that I've participated in, when I say that, people look at me as though that's disingenuous. All I've ever wanted to do was share who I am, because I, not to get emotional, always have felt it was a privilege just to be here. And that's why I make that partial joke about competing since I was born. I was a preemie. I was 2 pounds, 3 ounces when I was born. I wasn't supposed to survive. And then looking at my racial context, wasn't supposed to survive that either. than how I got to dance. Wasn't supposed to survive that either. So I'm just always in a space of immense gratitude and wanting to share how these amazing people inspire me, how my elders have inspired me, how this dance inspires us. Why wouldn't you want to share your perspective on that? Yeah, the winning thing seems like it's tied to so many other things, but even if you win, you still have to be confident in who you are in order to deliver that in a classroom, in another performative context. You get a moment, and some people take that and it's the pressure of the moment. Oh my God. And yeah, that can be a thing. But as everybody I think has said, it's that moment. And they recognize, this is who I am right now. C'est la vie. You like it? Great. You don't? Great. Sometimes if you're in a space where you've been working really, really, really hard on who you are in that moment, and someone says they don't like it, you say, all right, I'm gonna need you to show me why you don't like it. Because I like me more than I like you right now. So let's go. But I mean, that might be a different context. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it short. Sorry, it's legacy. It's legacy. It's tradition, and it's community in all of its facets. It's ways for you to enter into the conversation, whether you think you're gonna win or not. So you should show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it up, everybody. Wonderful sharings. Thank you so much.
I wanna add, because like Tena, as some of you know, maybe some of you don't, actually Tena is one of the owner of ILHC. And there is another one called Sylvia Sykes, and I just want to quote her because I think she has something about competition that kind of stayed with me when I heard her saying that. It's normal to be scared. To me, actually, even when I go and do a teacher demo, I'm scared because you want to do good. And Sylvia is like, well, after the performance, it won't change who you are. Like, you won't be a different person, you know? So at the end, this is something, you see? Well, I don't know. It's Sylvia Sykes, I'm sure. No, but the thing is like, honestly, that you do good or that you do bad, you will be still the same person. And to remember that is important because even if you win, you just win. I've been world champion at some other things. And realistically, I realized that I've been world champion over just that night. Like the day after it was gone. You feel satisfied and happy, but it doesn't change you, who you are socially. So all the thing that have been said about being pushed, showing up, it's the real thing. I won't lie, it's good to win, but it's much more than that. The process, the share, it's
Your life.
Exactly. And it was important to me to have that talk now at the beginning of the weekend because I want to set a mood and a tone about trying to fight that fakeness and trying to realize that we connect to something bigger than just winning a competition. And to be honest, on the organizer, maybe I'm talking too much now, but on the organizer side, we're already thinking about how we can make the vibe warmer at the Top Los Centrales room. So there is much more, like, again, realness and groove. And so I wanted everybody to reflect on that.
So you said that when you win something, you're still the same person. I think you should still be the same person. And sometimes people aren't the same person. And those are the kind of people I don't want to be around.
That part.
All right. Beautiful. The intention was to set the tone. That's done. Awesome. We have really good news because we have a screen over here on your left side where we're going to invite a guest, I think straight from New York. I'm not super sure.
New York.
Yes.
Yeah, she's in New York.
She's a wonderful person, a dancer, a choreographer, a community builder. She's been working with artists like Cecil, a mentor, and much tradition barrier.
You can bring her. Yeah. Everybody.
Please welcome.
Yep. All right, go for it. Yay!
Miss Mikey Davidson, everybody.
Miss Mickey Davidson.
Greetings. It's been fascinating hearing people's talks and their opinions because that's the beauty about jazz. there's so many different ingredients and how you put them together, and it all comes out to expression and creativity. Personally, I did not and have never gone into per se dance competition, because dance has been my way and my vehicle of making a living. But in listening to people, and one of the reasons why I see competition, inspiration, and motivation as different things. And there is, when you compete, there's a winner. There's a winner. How you judge and what the criteria for that winning is different. Culturally, in a long time ago, the community chose who the winner was. When Tena and some of the other people talk about how that competition within your neighborhood, and even when we used to do those early morning things with Frankie, he'd be on the side just watching to see what we doing, to see how he might be doing it a little bit different. I take that all the way back to the plantation with things like the cakewalk and the competition in order to please the master, in order to get that extra bag of flour or that extra ham. But when people won, they didn't keep it for themselves. It was about getting these extra provisions to then distribute amongst the community so that all the children would have something better to eat, or something to eat at all. And then it just grew, because in the TOBA circuit, you competed, you were inspired, you were motivated. Because for me, people who are in competition, that's a profession unto itself. As some of the people talked about, there's a standard you got to raise to. There's criteria. And no matter what culture you come from, I used to watch this, the Irish dancers upstate, and they started training just like that young man said, as a young age, going for the best you can be. And we all know we don't have a good day every day, and you can't please everybody all the time. So as Miss Sylvia Sykes says, no matter who and what you do, you're doing it for yourself. There are people in the community that when I grew up, there would be these ladies that would come to the cat clubs from Staten Island. And when these ladies walked in the door, us little ones, we just sat our asses down so that we could take a lesson. And you see people like Frankie and George Lloyd, the older, like the grown-ups, and they be like, oh, we're going to dance with them now. And then you see how each man danced with these women, and these women had this special grove. One of the women was the wife of Eric Dixon from the Count Basie Orchestra. She could swing out, but then she could be smooth and gentle. For me, and for most of us in that room, no matter those were our inspirations. Those were the winners. Those were the people we grew from. And as that man at the end of the thing talked about, you got to find your own voice. What you bring to jazz is who you are. And the more you discover about yourself, the more you got to share with the world, no matter if you want to try to be a winner or if you just come in to dance. And hanging out is very important. Just being with people, dancing together. Yeah, even if you don't know their name, half the people at the cat club, I didn't know their name, but we just saw each other every Sunday. And that creates community, and it creates motivation. It creates discipline, because if you want more, you shoot for more. And culture, yes, it's in our culture, because improvisation, being able to compete for the oppressor so that we could get some more from him to take care of our families and our immediate communities. There's a wonderful documentary on Louis Armstrong where he, in his own words, tell of his strategy. And so for so many years, people called him a Tom, and he was doing this. And he said, I might not have been on the lines marching, but he made that money so he could put money in the till to help communities. And a community of Queens, every school that has his name had a literacy program to make sure every child knew how to read. Those are the things, and how competition, or the illusion of competition, and the motivation of being the best you can be, all comes out in jazz. because if we talked about technique, Dizzy Gillespie would not be the trumpet player he was, because them puffed out lips is not something you're supposed to do based on European technical technique of trumpet playing. But it gave him a sound that made him special, that everybody in the world was able to celebrate and appreciate. And I think I better stop now.
No, please don't. Please don't. Miss Mickey Davidson, everybody. Yeah.
I'm going to end with my new thing. Congressman John Lewis said, just because you can change a law doesn't mean you can change people's hearts. But Frankie Manning and that whole realm of elders in their own way, not only did they change people's hearts in America, but they changed people's hearts all over the world. And these events should be about the continuation of softening people's hearts and empathy and bringing us as human beings together. So now I'm finished.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miss Mickey. I don't know what to say after that. Again, I need to share the back story of it. When we had this idea of ILHC Europe, and I had a lot of conversation with my fellow colleagues over here, like I think we talked a lot with Tasha, with Tena, with a little bit of everybody about what to bring and how to complete a vision. And Miss Mickey, because of other interaction that we have, I asked her to be with us, and she couldn't be with us. And I didn't know in which way, but it was important for me to have a presence with us and to bless us with her wisdom. And it was important for me to have her, to have you at the beginning of the weekend, even though I knew that the theme wasn't connected to, like directly connected. She told me, I'm not connected with the competition scene. But we talked yesterday a lot. I came back home and we talked for almost an hour. And I shared with her my vision, and today she told me, I know what I'm gonna say. So I think, to me, again, thank you very much. Having you with us, even throughout this context, is a blessing. So thank you for being with us. Thank you for blessing us with your words.
And thanks for all the teachers and the judges sharing. The last little thing is, now that y'all are talking about competition, look at how this event can maybe have some new updated rules or criteria for competition. How can you update it to incorporate all the different styles and so that's your challenge. Because I ain't going either, as the brothers talk about, when you get on the dance floor, either people like you or they don't like you. But you're doing what you do, and you're doing it the best you can. So, all right, I'm gonna stop.
Give it up, everybody. She can hear you.
All right, y'all.
We love you. And also, happy birthday.
Thank you. I hit the big 7-0. So I'm celebrating just being alive. And now I can talk just like normal. I can say whatever I feel like saying.
Always.
I'm like, all right.
All right, I think that's pretty much it. I can feel free to stay with us if you want, Miss Mickey, or leave if you have to. I would love
to. I have to get to rehearsal.
So, bye.
Thank you for having me, and have a great weekend.
Thank you very much.
And make pretty art.
How do you feel? Good. Yeah,
Why you didn't have this energy to win a competition? Well, guys, it won't be a panel discussion. I'm gonna give few words. The goal is to have cultural approach of this whole art form and its culture, because I think it's important to also treat and consider the culture as a continuum. So the optimistic goal of this 1 hour session would be to dance and do the thing together. To eventually, like, we are very, very fortunate, and it was really important to have with us Tena Morales again. With a round of applause for Tena. And it was also important to have all of my fellow artists, judges, dancers, and friends to also contribute to it and support and give also a take on how we do it. And last and not least, it was also important for this first ILHC Asia to have Sing Lim with us as one of the first to have.
Stadium all the time.
Bringing the dance in Asia, so it was important to connect all of those dots together. It's about the culture again. Like, I think we all love Lindy Hop. What I want to say briefly is, like, no event, no dancer, no organizer is bigger than the hop. 네, 그 어떤 아티스트도 또 어떤 행사도 이 춤 자체보다 더 큰 건 없어요. Like, if we truly believe this offline, it's about getting together. We can. It's okay not liking everybody. It's okay having, like, issues. Except that it's life. But when it comes to the art form, if we're not able to come together and show up, there is a problem. To me, that makes me question why are we doing it. So I won't say much. We're gonna stand up and we're gonna start with a little line dance. Line dance, so have fun. So watch it go beat. Hey, I'm the microphone. Here we go.
It's a young day. I can feel it when you walk. Even when you talk, it takes over me. It's a young day. I wanna know, can you feel it too? Just like I do. This stuff is starting now. It's the same feeling I always seem to get around. There's no mistaking, I'm clearly taken by the simple feel of you.
Turn.
This stuff is starting now. This stuff is starting now. This stuff is starting now.
Back.
My eyes rolling in my head, I toss and turn in my bed. Only when I think about you. Yes, I do. Simply put, you're the reason why. Even though I'm real shy,
To the side. And tuck it up. Hey, front. And back. And turn.
cause you are back.
Back.
Fast and lightning. I'm the heaven for the things that you are doing. So sweet.
Where I have to stop for a second. How do you feel? Do you get the idea of the steps? That's good. So the steps are not really complicated. Do we agree with that? You might need some time to figuring out. But so now for the rest of the song, we need the spices. It's not about just doing the step. It's about bringing yourself and contribute to something. Doesn't mean it has to be crazy. Yeah. So now we're all gonna do it together. But I want to see, like, how individually we can personalize it. So so you're gonna have Mentira. You can come on. You can say it. Huh?
It's like culturally, it's the electric is hot. But on Black American dance, this is the first dance you learn from this song. And from it everywhere, you do the electric stuff. And normally he'd have bigger notes when he has the four fingers. Most my dances are full of that.
Yeah. So we're on the floor. We have Marie and Felix over there. They're already really sweet. We have singing over there. Tina will be there. We sing up the pool, and I'll be here. Where does people look? All right. Better will make this up there, Thomas. Here we go. Don't freak out to what you see, because Pisces can be sometimes a little woo. But go. I don't go. Hey! Up, up! Here we go! Back! Front! Turn! How do you guys feel? Ay, 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 ay. Keep going. Keep going. So good. And all right, everybody. How was it? Yes. How was your level of spices? There was spices in it? That's kimchi level. For kimchi has a lot of different level of spices, huh? I got that. Kimchi the bottom. Okay.
That's what?
Huh? So I think it's a good introduction. Again, for me, when you are in a space where you feel people connected and different but connected at the same time,
you know when you are in the right space or not. So we're gonna sit for now. We're gonna have a little talking moment. So I'm gonna give the microphone to Maddie, so she can set context, and then we're gonna have a little bit of settling around Tina.
Okay. 마리가 뭔가 좀 중요한 얘기를 할 건데요. 네.
We each have our roles. Remy is the party person. I am the nerd. Dr. Nerd. So I'm going to go with the boring stuff, but trying to put some context. So the first thing is a definition of what culture is, or a definition of what culture is.
Credit.
Culture can be defined by a people in a specific place. And it is the shared elements that allow these people to function together, like language, beliefs, politics, arts, ethics, customs, values, and the practices that they build together. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, understand. Which is
Cheers.
a second definition is culture is expressed through cultural traditions. And these traditions, they are specific to the people, to these people in that place, but also in that time. And within the same culture, the same group of people, through time, traditions, they can persist, they can change, or they can disappear between generations. Yeah? Right, I can. So, the desire to preserve the way of life or the culture of a people, it's a deep human trait. Human trait.
Is it hot?
That's a process.
Oh, sorry.
And preserving a way of life, it's especially important when a people is suffering oppression or when a people is displaced. They're taken from one place to another.
So careers are similar. There's something, the sadness so we have something in our history.
Yeah, and jazz dance, including Lindy Hop, is a practice of African Americans. And it is connected, therefore, to the culture, the way of life of the African American people. And in this dance, we find the values, the codes, the philosophies that are integral to life in the Black American community in the USA.
네. 그래서 제가 방금 말씀드렸던 거하고 똑같은 말인데요. 네. 네.
Bonnie could look crazy.
He
said everything.
Yeah, that's good. So this is just a context, like what is it that we are talking about? We're talking about a cultural tradition, therefore it's connected to culture, therefore it's connected to people and to ways of life. And on this note,
Yes. So as Mary said, on this note, it's a huge pleasure to introduce you again, Tina Morales. Make some noise, everybody! Make some noise! Context, I keep doing that because she hates it. That's on you now. The thing is, like, Tina has been the power force behind ILHC, and I think behind the modern indie hop scene in the US for a long time. But she's so discreet that a lot of people don't even know her. So it's yeah. So now that I took away the role of directing ILHC, my main goal is also to expose her, because if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would even probably do the Lindy Hop today.
I didn't know that. And maybe it's too late to go back.
So I would love, Tina, if you can introduce yourself, like I mean, few maybe direction. What was your connection to the dance? I mean, and I'll let you talk. We want to know who you are. What was your connection to the dance? Why ILHC? What does it mean to you to have, when you have created?
I started dancing in 1994 in Washington, D.C. And my sister brought me to a dance. I was actually doing, she owned an aerobic studio back region. And they wanted, and I used to teach hip hop at her aerobic studio. And she wanted me to see the swing dancing. And I was like, I don't want to see that. And I went on a Saturday night and I saw people doing Tena to Charleston with them. And back then, I'm old now, I'm 65, but back then I was younger and I was more athletic person. And I saw that and I was like, that is exciting. I thought it was athletic. I loved it. I was addicted. Saturday night, I went Monday to a class. I went Tuesday to a class. I drove an hour and a half to Baltimore to go to a class. And ever since, complete addiction. And then I started dancing. I actually started, back then there was only one event, but one competition. And then there became ULHS, ULHS. And I started judging there. You had ULHS, no rules. ILHC, tons of rules. And I wanted to be in the middle. So at that time, I was already running Lindy Fest. I used to run and I wanted to, speaking with the elders, I wanted to have a competition weekend that honored them. I wanted to make sure that they'd never forgotten. So that's why we started the Sweet Dance Museum. And also to have people, young youth. So we had a youth program. So all these things were important to the elders. So the traditions, the culture, and even though there's things that you may not see or know that you're part of, culture-wise, you are an ILHC. You may not know it, but there's things that we do that are culture, just like this line dance. Like there's always line dance, because that's Black American.
Yes. What's good?
Okay.
And since you started ILHC, how can I say that? What do you think about our scene worldwide, our take on competition, and what does it mean to you as well to have ILHC now, like traveling in continent? Like, what's your thoughts about it?
Ever since I started ILHC in 2008, people from different places, different countries have always asked me to do something in other countries. And I've always said no. And the reason is because I didn't feel like the values that we hold at ILHC would be translated throughout the continent. But this gentleman convinced me. And so the promise we've had, it took me a while to convince him as well. So I think it was a convincing of each other. Yes, because I needed somebody that I could trust, somebody that I knew. But somebody that I knew that had the right heart for the dance and that would still carry on the tradition, still putting his own spin on it, which is hard if you're over something, knowing that you need to move on and maybe transition to something else, and being able to support his vision, which is a new vision, and go forward and for the dance to evolve, but still hold the traditions. Yeah. So I think when I've been to Europe, I've been to Latin America. This is my first time here. It's exciting for me because I feel like it's gonna grow in the right way. So I think it's great as long as there's an appreciation, and that's what I feel here. That's what I felt in Europe. That's what I felt in Latin America, that there was an appreciation and not just appropriation. So there's a difference. As long as you respect the culture, respect the history, then that's appreciating. And Black American, I know I'm just one, but I love that. So it's a difference.
Speaking of which, I think it's for me it's important to have this moment, not to sacralize it that much. This is why I want to include the movement too, like dancing. But I know in the scene, there is a lot of. I think we are experiencing a shift for the last couple of years, trying to do better what you might have probably harmed at time the culture. So you mentioned appropriation versus appreciation. I know a lot of people, and maybe here in Asia, it's something that you might have also experienced. Like some people, like there is different side of the spectrum. Some people might feel not welcome or questioning if they are allowed to do this dance. Some people feel entitled. Like, what would be your take on like where is the line between appreciation and appropriation?
The line is very hard to define, but when I see people appreciate the history, appreciate the traditions, appreciate and know, you should know the history. It's really, it's almost disrespectful not to know. Not for just people who are just dancing, especially for teachers, instructors, organizers. I think it's disrespectful to me if they don't know the history of culture.
But the fact that you're making money out of it? Go on.
No, it's well, that too, 100% if you're making money. But also if you're in that position to speak to other people and talk about it, then you should know what you're speaking about.
Hello, the nerd is back. More definitions. So just a few to put it in the 30 way. The idea of cultural appropriation, and there are different ways that culture can be appropriated. One is commodification, or profiting from another culture, and that happens when a dominant group takes elements of another culture for profit or for social capital, for clout, or I'm important because I take things from another culture. If you can read my handwriting, good luck. The other way culture can be appropriated, it's more subtle, and it's when a dominant group participates in the culture and slowly claim it as their own. Now it's not yours anymore, it's ours. And then now it's not yours anymore, it's everybody's. Or now it's not yours anymore, it's mine. And for the nerds in the room, this way of appropriating is called ethnocide. Ethnocide. You keep the people, but you kill the culture. ETHNOCID. It was coined at the same time as genocide, which is killing people and killing culture. And cultural appreciation, in the opposite way, as Tena said, it's the interest and care for another culture's way of being and doing when participating in their cultural tradition. This one is properly written. Let's this one. This is something I like. So listen.
Can I say something I like?
Yeah.
I like when I saw everybody dressing up for the contest. That's very, very Black American. Very dressing up for a contest or going out to dance or something like that. I personally like that. So even if you're casual, it's always fashion, about fashion, right?
Representing yourself.
Yeah.
And I think, like, to me, the little point that I would like to make about it is like dressing up doesn't mean that you need to fit. Like, it's not about cosplaying, like putting a costume.
And I don't know for you, Tina, but like dressing up, it's to represent yourself, to pay respect to the space and the people in the space, but also it can be a competition. The best dressed person. You should see my mom at church.
It is. Like, in the black culture as a whole, there is this word swag. And swag means everything.
Yes. So we compete about everything. Who makes the best food? Or who has the best dress on? Who has the best hat? Who has the best shoes? Who's the best dancer? Who's the everything? So when online and I see people say things like about competition, I'm like, what are you talking about? That's I don't know. That's your culture. That's not mine. Mine is competition in everything.
And I think it can be because at the end it's human beings, so obviously it can be negatively interpreted within the black community too. But again, like it also can be positively interpreted, and that's a push to grow yourself, to elevate each other. Like I grew up that way. That's maybe the connection that I have with Lindy Hop or the African American culture. And I think that we are too sensitive about assuming that we're allowed to think that way without being a dick.
And competition is fun. It's not something that you kind of hold over people. It's fun. The one thing that I do like, especially about ILHC, the World Finals, the invitational level, these people, when they compete, it's about fun. They compete to win, but when they don't, it's okay. It's healthy competition.
Yeah. And that's to connect all of the dots together. I think competing is not about, like, even if you win, it doesn't mean that you're a different person. You know, like, so that you win or that you lose, it will not change you. So it's about, again, contributing to the space. It's not about, like, if you win, you're not becoming the most important person in the room. You know what I mean? And I think for me, what I like about it is, like, if you feel like contributing means showing up. And I will take them as an example over here, but like, I think Nisa and Bianca have been the one that have pushed the art form in terms of like this performative aspect of aerials and stuff. They're still showing up. Just so you know, they might have, like, they were that close to do the All-Star Strictly today, but because of health reason, they stepped out. But like, they wanted to do it to contribute, not to win, to contribute. And obviously, like, it can be intimidated or whatever. The thing, and it's just a personal thing that I'm gonna say now, what saddened me a little bit is, like, I feel like people stop showing up at some point in their journey. And if you stop showing up, then it's like appropriate.
Like French, I don't speak
Listen, like
It takes away from the space.
the growth, like if you stop showing up, and if like the people that have the ability to push the art form forward stop showing up, then the art form becomes a little less. Does it make sense?
100%.
So I really hope that this is why, again, as I said, no competition, school, dancer, organizer is bigger than the art form. It's about showing up for the art form. I understand that a lot of people have their reason to not feeling to do it at some point, but like, as I experience the entire scene worldwide, I feel like there is status quo that are getting created that actually are killing the respect and the push of the art form. I don't know if that makes sense. One, like the biggest, like the one that I have the most curated is ILHC Europe, because we've been creating that for 3 years now. We're gonna get the 4th year. First, the people that you see here and others showed up. They show up for me. Like, how can we help? And I think every scene has that, which is good. But that's the first show up. Like, people that believe in your vision, that show up to help. And the biggest compliment that I got with this event is that for people that used to experience competition in Lindy Hop, it didn't feel like a competition event, because the entire weekend it's a vibe. Like, we played different music style, everybody jammed, and everybody support each other. So obviously it takes to have the right people in the room to convey this vibe. But this is exactly what I wish we could have here. It's not about just winning the competition. It's about, again, contributing to something that is bigger than us.
Oh no, that's
So let's have a little dancing moment now. Because it's cold in here, so let's dance again. Huh? Yeah. How did it go? Good? It's good, huh? It's good, huh? We can sit again. One thing that I find how can I say, interesting, putting in perspective, and I think it has been mentioned earlier, in the context of the culture, you don't learn the step. Like, nobody teach you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you go front, you watch and you copy. By doing this, watching and copy, first you are surrounded by it, so there is like a kind of natural instinct of like getting it, but also like it's quicker to making it yours. And I think like you can, and I understand the feel, especially to share it with people, that you can develop new tools to share it. I learned to break down my movement of dancing when I started to teach it, but I think I also lost a little bit of myself in the like immediate reaction of grooving to the music. Like, those steps are very simple. So they are very, very simple.
They're supposed
They're supposed to be, but if they are not articulated with groove, they're boring. Tena, do you have anything to add, to say about all of this? You being here, you sharing that with us?
I'd like to know if they come in.
Yeah.
I'm very, very open person. I like positive, negative, whatever you got for me. It's right.
Yeah, it's really lovely. Thank you so much for coming and for helping us.
Tena Marauders, everybody! Tena Marauders!
Just
Sorry, that was my bad. So then, as Hampton, not closely associated with Black American history, and knowing the nuance and the pain and the toil where this originated from, how best can non-Black American dancers, people from Asia, people from Europe, people from other countries, another continent, learn about and pay homage to this culture and to continue to add to its.
I think a lot of that you're already doing, like this one just showing up. That's what I told Remy the other.
The mic is not all as
It's one thing. Like I said before, learning the history. And so learning the history of the dance, honoring the elders, and just kind of knowing it's like going to someone's home, right? And if you're in someone's home, you act accordingly to that person's house. If I'm here, I'm going to take my shoes off. I mean, I do that in America, but I'm going to do it here because I respect the culture that on which I'm. And if there's something that maybe I would consider disrespectful, and if I express that, then maybe take note of it instead of just don't immediately get defensive. Just think, okay, well, why are they singing that? Maybe there's part of the culture that you don't know about. There's little things like, and there's nuances to it. So, in African Black American culture, if I were like Miss Sugar Sullivan, Barbara Billups, like I would never ever call them to their face sugar. I wouldn't do that. Because I'm of a certain age, I wouldn't. Now, if they told me to, then I probably would. I probably wouldn't because it's still not within the culture to do so. There's little things that you may not know, but if someone says something to you, like Norma was pretty big on that. Like, I would never say, Norma, hey, Norma, this. I would say, Miss Norma. I just can't call that Norma, And she knows that I know better. So it's different if you don't know better, but when you know better, you do better, right? So, and it's different if you're friends, but if you're not friends, she's not my friend, she's my elder, So it's different.
Yeah, I think we could open this question. That's why I also asked everybody to be here, because I think it's also important to hear from contemporary dancers that are carrying this art form around the world, like what's their take on it or what's their thought of it. So I'm talking about Felix, Nils, Bianca, and also for someone like seeing that I've been carrying the share of this art form on the Asian continent. To share with us a little bit of your thoughts.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Hello. I think the first thing that I want to highlight is a relationship. Like Tina mentioned, the house thing, but I also, and further than that, like that I care about Tina personally, of who she is, more than Tina the organism or Tina, so say with Remy, I care for him as my friend, my on a human level. You start this With that said, to get closer to someone that you don't necessarily understand the culture of who they are as well, like I have my part of, like Tina also mentioned already, educating myself, like learning about the history, learning about norms, learning about values and the codes in the room when you enter the space. So for myself, for many, many years, I started when I was 8 years old.
저는 8살 때부터 춤을 추기 시작했는데요.
I knew about the dance history for a long time and the dancers, the original dancers and the elders of our, but I didn't really know who they were, like who are they as humans and in which context did they grow up in. As a young kid, I danced. I didn't understand the importance of these things. Even as an adult, every day, I continue to be open to learn. So again, Tina made a great example. If someone here too, if you come up to me and say, Felix, this thing that you just did is very disrespectful to Korean culture, then I don't choose to be like, oh, I don't care. No, I choose to, oh, all right, I'm sorry. Please, if you have the energy, can you please tell me what does this mean? And can I do better in the future? But I think the biggest lesson for me with all of this has been to have empathy for, and I think for my dear sister and friend, I feel like sister relationship, that we care so deeply about each other that I want to I really do care about you, even, and I don't care about the fact that we don't have the same experience in something. I care about you as a human. I want to meet you, and then from there we can grow together. And with that friendship, like with Bianca too, we're close. Like she can call me and be like, Felix, this thing that you did, or we can even share positive or negative things, but they are always for us to grow together. And with all of this, it helps me to grow as a human myself, and how I contribute with all of these understandings of values and codes when I am present in this space or share about it. And then you have someone like Remy that keeps pushing us to push ourselves. But with the same thing as Tina mentioned, with love, like it's coming from that he cares about the art form. The art form is bigger, but also who am I? Like he cares about me pushing myself and being my best self. That was it.
Yes.
Hi everyone. My story, well put, Felix. I think you at the next. So my story is similar to Felix. I grew up starting doing a Lindy Hop when I was really young, about age of 9, give or take. So I've had the privilege of learning from people that have been doing it for a long time, but also coming from Sweden, which makes it a really privileged starting point for me to get the exposure from a lot of experienced dancers, but also people who have had connections to the Black community originally. Did you say boogie woogie? I heard it. You know, it keeps going on in my head. I just never really my head audited. Wait, did she just mention my boogie story? I'm like, anyhow, scratch that, anyhow.
At all, like
Nothing about boogie. What are you guys know? Okay, whatever. So bringing that in mind of what Tina said about being a guest in a culture, something that I brought with me is partly, yes, I'm a guest, but also that little detail that, you know, when you bring something, when you come over to somebody's house, what do I add to the art form? Whether that is contributing the way I execute the art, but also adding more to it. So learning, whether that's a routine or the customs, let's say, I do think that an important is that you bring yourself to the art form and not just consume it. So we learn it and then we do it the same way over and over and over. But kind of like the line dance of, yeah, we're doing the steps, but how do you do them? How do you actually contribute? And I think the way I'm trying to approach it is, how do I do it? What do I what do I do with what I've learned? And that has kind of helped me, guide me along the way of contributing to it rather than just consuming it. Because in the end, I do think it might be scary to do it your way or exposing yourself, but in the end, exposure to who you are brings vulnerability, and vulnerability in itself can add connection to one another. So yeah, on that note.
It's time's up. We can listen to you like 40 minutes more.
Now, once you have the mic, I once had the mic, it's you're here for 6 hours. Okay, you hear me long so many times that I'm actually going to say something which is contradictory to how you guys kind of viewed it. Maybe, I don't know. I was very lucky, I guess, when I learned Lindy Hop. The people I learned with were very happy that I learned the dance. They were very welcoming. And I never felt weird about me with a Singaporean Chinese person doing the dance. I did feel weird. It did feel like, what am I doing? But they didn't make me feel weird. I felt weird myself. Yeah. So I think after so many years of Asia doing Lindy Hop, I feel that most of the teachers, most of the students all know that it comes from an African history, African American history, and they are curious to know more mostly. And like after 1 or 2 years of dancing, they understand that, and they are willing to know more and try a little bit. And see, so many people are here to come and listen. So I'm very happy about that. I guess progress has been made, and I'm very happy that Asia is moving in that direction. Very, very accepting and willing to learn more. So, and as I said, when I learned the dance, my teachers were Black American and Black British, Frankie and Ryan. They really welcomed me, and I will never forget that. You know, I will never forget that feeling that I didn't feel kicked out or that I'm not allowed. So, keep it station. Joey fighting. So I guess I now realize how much a guest I am in culture. But I guess I was lucky. I was a welcome guest, so I could come in and I could appreciate and I could learn very easily, because it was never a fight. It was never like tension about, why I'm here and I must learn. No, it was just like, yeah, I want to know more about you, and that's my thing.
Because of what you said, I have a question. So, do you feel that now there is that tension about whether or not? So that's what you feel now.
지금도 그런 패션이라든지 이런 것들에 대해서 있는지 그걸 느끼는지에 대한 질문을 했어요.
I think there is explosion and there's a bit of misunderstanding, because of course there are new dancers who don't know anything. Of course not. They come in, they want to dance for the dance. And then there are people that are steeped in the culture and saying, hey, you don't know that we created this dance, and then the newer dancers are like, oh, true. And then it gets blown up a little bit. But I think that is blown up.
So for me, I would never expect somebody who's a new dancer. That would be unrealistic. And I think that everybody's welcome to do the dance until you're not. And to me, that would be something very, I mean, I don't even know what that would be. Like, it would be something very egregious, or someone who is in a position of power who does something crazy or something. But other than that, why would anybody not be welcome to do that?
So you're a new dancer, you hear all this debate, and then you get nervous, like, it's just unfair.
Okay.
I want to.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that.
But it's very interesting, because for my little story is, I was in Herang and I did a presentation on ether waters. And then afterwards I was hanging at the teacher's area, and Miss Norma Miller comes in. And at that point, I did not know that they were like this. They were best friends. So Miss Norma comes in the room. She sees me sitting, and I was like, oh, I did good, I did good. And then she grilled me for like 10 minutes. And did you know this? And did you know that? And why didn't you talk about this? And why didn't you talk about that? For 10 minutes straight, grilled me. And I had done my homework. I had, because I did a 5 minutes presentation, but I worked on it for like hours and hours. So I could answer all the questions. And so at the end, the question I got was, why do you care so much about my culture? Don't you have your own? But the way I understood it was not, you're not welcome. It's like, did you think about why you spend so much time with it? What is your motivation? It didn't mean you cannot do it, but it's like, but why? I'm curious. You have all this stuff. Why this? Tell me. And I took this valid question as a door to explore more. But what is my culture? What is Black American culture? Where do they connect? Where are they different? How do I then do the dance? Where am I doing the dance from my point of view? What am I doing the dance from the point of view of what I understand of Black American culture? I really start to think, question, meet people with Tena. We have so many discussions about, oh, you do this, we do that. Oh, you do this, we don't do that. And finding those connections and differences, and it's fun. I don't have to be somebody else. But that curiosity, I feel, nourished me as a person and as a dancer. So it was not a push, but it was like, did you think about it a little? You're doing it, but think about it. And the last thing, that expectation was because I put myself out there. I was on stage talking. So then she was like, oh, you out there. Why? If I'm here in the corner with my thing, she would never come to tell me that. But once I take that spot, I have a responsibility. And Miss Norma let me know.
I ridiculous. Yes. I think it's super important to understand the position of power you have. You are in, either you want it or not. So in order to have your students, feeling uncomfortable when the discussion is brought up, it's the teacher responsibility to expose them to the culture as much as possible in their capabilities. So yeah, that one. And I would say it's really not in the student expectations, but definitely in the person that is sharing the art form. We do have a responsibility, especially when we are guests in this culture. It's like we cannot just do it and just, the quote unquote is just a dance. It is not just a dance. It's part of a culture that we need to respect. And it shows in the actions, not only what we know, but also what we do and how we do. And I think especially at the level of you put in you're a scene leader or an organizer or a famous teacher in your city, whatever. You are in that position, and I think you either take that responsibility well and respectfully, or you should drop that. I don't want to be this. I don't want to have that weight on me, and then you shouldn't be there. And I think it comes with also recognizing your own insecurities and a lot of honesty. Be honest with what you don't know and be curious about finding out and look for opportunities, or for example, support events that actually shows and prioritize the values that we're looking for, showing up in the right places that support those values. So, and not just I just do the thing. And be honest, I always don't know. I will just finish with one thing. I think everybody in this room already should, for example, in your class, just what we did with the line dance. Don't expect your Lindy Hop teacher to feed you
with all the details and all the information, like approach the class as a student, knowing that, okay, like I'm gonna find out myself, like that's enough. And it is a good thing, like to, at the end of the day, do it your own way without, necessarily like replicating something that someone else is doing.
But you help like to study this topic. So it's easy from the technique stage that perspective. I do think that others can decide best possible. Forward. The tension.
Yeah.
The kind of thing that
Yep.
you need that out. I don't think I understood.
Why it's not finished?
Yeah, I understood.
It's just in this corner over here. One example was last year, first year of CBS local, they practiced what that we have opened up the birthday work registration for heels Baxter only. And then I look at she got like that. The second one I white two ones. So now tension that confusion makes into rethink that. So under the evolving of that science is just that of color. So without accession and confusion, I will move over about like this outcomes of this states. So I think confusion this offers the to the help us.
I mean,
Sorry.
I would try to wrap it up because we're already running over time. I hope all of you here can leave this space with reflection for yourself. I think everybody should develop like self-reflection, why we're doing that and what we want to do with it. I want to point out two things. Coming back with Felix mentioned relationship. In life, you would never end a relationship that you, like if you're in a relationship with a person, at the first issue, you will not end it up if you deeply love this person. So to come back what Jason was saying, like what makes you uncomfortable can also push you to become a better person, especially if it's done in a circle of love. So if you deeply love this dance, as we all pretend to, if you feel uncomfortable about something, if you want to turn your back, that might question like, did you really love it? Or you loved it for a different reason? First and foremost. The second thing that I want to point out, I'm going to ask a question and I hope you can answer me. As a French European person, if I want to learn Taekwondo, that is Korean, right? If I go and see a master and ask to learn it, will the master welcome me? Yes or no? Can you ask the question? Yeah. Then I come back home. I teach what I learn. Throughout time, I start changing it a little bit to commodify it. I change the words, I change the naming, I change things. Me and other people do that for the sake of respect of the culture or of the art form. But throughout time it changes, and throughout time, the vast majority of people doing it are not people connected from the culture. It's European people with their own code. Yeah? I make a business with it. And I do festivals. I invite some masters, but there is less and less. Because Taekwondo is not that popular anymore, right? Yeah. But I invite them to my festival. But when they come, like they're really happy and grateful that it's spread. But when they start questioning like, but why this or why that? Or people that were doing it casually with their family, they're like, this is weird. If my response is like, well, I do it for fun. You know what I mean? Would it be a problem culturally for you? Is that clear? When we think about like, how come like I feel like rejected? One thing also about what Singh you said, from a lot of different experience in life, there is a difference between what people, how people present themselves and what they share in front, like in a space that they don't feel 100% themselves, and how they speak when they are in a closed door space. I wasn't there when the dance was shared with Europeans, Asian and everything, but I know that the elders were not speaking the same with people that were sharing the dance and when they were together in closed doors. You were there at the beginning of it. So everybody's happy to share it. So it's not about not sharing it. It's where does it go? And I think the vast majority worldwide, it's beautiful that Lindy Hop is everywhere in the world, but the vast majority are less connected to the culture. That's a reality. And if we don't care about it, it becomes something else. Is it bad? No, but it's different. And one thing that I want to finish with, for me, Tena represents a person in the scene. This is why I say it's important, like it's maybe because of her that I'm here, is like, I realized I felt the tension in the scene and I didn't even know where to fit myself. Like, I'm praised, but I don't feel myself 100%. What got me connected with this lady is the fact that she's very welcoming. Every space that she created are meant to be inclusive. Being inclusive doesn't mean that you come and you do whatever you want. And that's why I think we connected, because I have the same mindset. Everything I do, I want to connect people together. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't have to, we should just don't care about values and stuff. We connect. So everybody is welcome. It's not about not being welcome, you shouldn't do it. Everybody is welcome, and as beautiful said by a lot of different people, it's about how you show up. One example of everybody's welcome. I'm French, and I'm directing ILHC in New York. So if the culture would be closed-minded between just African American only, it wouldn't have happened.
Well, I just wanted to say that you have no idea, when I started ILHC 18 years ago, I would have never thought that I would be here. I would never thought that people would want to hear this. It is so important that you guys showed up, that you showed up today, you showed up to this, and trying to do it without crying. But
그래서 여러분이
very, very important that you're here and you showed up.
네.
And I just thank everybody here.
정말 그냥 여러분께 감사드리고 싶어요.
This is going for all panels and also translator. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Well, let's all show up. Yay.
From the 44